I was in Ukraine as a tourist when the war began, and the moment I pulled the trigger at the red dot, the whole area exploded. I'm Shooks from the UK. I was in Ukraine as a tourist when the war began, and I started working with NGOs, providing support to the army with Ukraine aid ops. I also did atrocities monitoring for Eyewitness. I was studying and recording evidence for where Russia struck in civilian infrastructure. And I was also looking after the abundance of hungry dogs and cats that were abandoned because of the evacuations necessarily. And that was in Slavyansk. And then I decided to join the army after 2 years of helping that way. And I'd already been contributing to the army by donations. I was already working online and donating to the army as well. I saw a lot in Slavyansk of harm that Russia did, and I was very motivated after 2 years to actually join and help in the fight. So after 2 years, I decided to pay for my own training. I did medical, I did guns, I did drone training, and I joined the armed forces. Since then, I've served for 1.5 years, mostly as a drone operator and combat engineer. Mostly as a drone operator and combat engineer, and also 6 months in the infantry. I'm a creative, and I was here in Ukraine when the war began, more as a tourist, really. I was here just by chance. The war began, and I decided to stay because all men were asked to stay. I was not Ukrainian, but I really wanted to help. Yeah, I'd done a lot of training. I did a lot before I joined. I paid for myself. I did a month in drones. I did 2 weeks emergency tactical medicine, and I did 2 weeks with guns because I didn't have military background. So I started from scratch. When I joined the army, I was put through many different types of training courses. I've done like 75 days of different infantry training, and a lot of that has been fairly specialized. And I feel now I'm really a multifaceted soldier. I can work with drones, I can launch them, program them, fight with them. I can do all manner of infantry work, infiltration and exfiltration in different forms. I feel prepared for pretty much any situation now. Okay, I'll tell you one combat story, and I still don't know what happened then. There was one morning, it was foggy. Like when there's fog, this is the dangerous time because our drones can't provide recon. There was a red light directly opposite us, our position, in the fog, in the shadow, and I have no idea to this day what it was. A shining red light about head height. I thought someone was smoking. We were in the middle of a contact. We were firing at different Russians moving around, and I didn't know who that was or what that was. So I opened fire at the red dot, and the moment I pulled the trigger at the red dot, the whole area exploded. And I have no idea what happened. I asked my commander, and everyone says, I don't know. So yeah, shoot red lights, they blow up. When you join the army, you're serving, and serving means a degree of sacrifice. Once you get the trust in your commander, which you will do, you have to be ready to put your life in his hands. And for some people, that's more scary than actually fighting. There are other things in this war which are more important than keeping you safe. But your commander has your life as a priority, and you just have to trust that he will make the decisions. I think rather than preparing yourself physically, although that's really important, you have to prepare yourself mentally. You have to foresee the kind of situations that you're going to be in, and that focus, that helps you deal with fear and panic, which happens around you. Just focus on your job. You're here to do something really, really important. Just remember, it's about that job, not about you. Yeah, I had different supplies for different brigades. When I first joined with the International Legion, it was, yeah, they gave us everything. And it was almost a bit of a joke amongst Ukrainians how much we were given. So yeah, when you come through the International Legion, you do get a lot of really good gear. And we like to buy our own. Everyone knows what they need. Everyone's got different preferences and different roles. And for each, you have to make decisions. There are always people around who can give you advice, who have been doing this for a while. And it's very tempting to buy stuff you just don't need, and people will help you with that. But yeah, you get everything you need. Equipment is not an issue here. Yeah, you have to earn their trust, and they have to earn your trust. Yeah, I have a great relationship with my commander, and what he tells me to do, I do. Even if I know that it's a bit dangerous, I know that he's made a decision that puts my life as a priority, but this mission needs to be done. You need to think about what role you will be good for. Only you know your skills, you know your potential, and most of all, you know your motivation and what kind of work you want to do. You need to make that clear, and often, usually, always, they will get you into the job that you are pushing to get into, because it suits everyone. You're motivated to do that job, you're preparing for that job, and they open that job for you. I've been pleasantly surprised with how much flexibility there has been amongst all the brigades that I've worked for, 2 brigades, towards giving a foreigner the job that they want. I was a drone operator when I was doing the 4th Battalion training, so I had a different training scheme than others, but in my experience, it was very, very focused, which was good, on physical, like strength, stamina, and skills, physical skills. And they also had a variety of different training exercises that were interesting and challenging, the stress shoot especially. And yeah, I was pleased, and I took a lot of use from the training I had in the 4th Battalion, yeah. Leadership opportunities depends entirely on your team. If you're in a Ukrainian team, like myself, and your language level is not really enough to command a team, you're not going to be a commander. You have to do your job as an infantryman, or whichever job you're doing. That's what I did. But if you're in a team of foreigners, yeah, you can become a sergeant, and they've recently opened up like the ceiling, so you can even progress higher than sergeant. The language is really important. If there's any way you can improve your Ukrainian, Russian, Ukrainian language skills, it really, really helps. If you're not doing that, your team will modify themselves so that there will always be an English speaker with you, so it's possible. But anything you can do to raise your language level is a boon. What I do is, for missions, I have all the vocabulary I need for the missions down. I show it to all my team members and say, if you want to communicate with me, this is the vocabulary you've got to use, and this is these are the words I know, and I'll use them to you. So we're all on the same page about how to communicate in stressful situations. I've done 6 months in the infantry, which has been really valuable, and I really feel that I've contributed in the best way I can, or maybe the hardest way I can. But I also realized that I've got other skills that I can use to help. So I have to make a decision which of those skills will be and what I'll do next. With regard to Ukraine, the longer you are here, the more you want to stay. I've been here now for a long time, and 3.5 years. I see it as my home. I feel I'm defending people I care about now. And I can see myself staying here after the war. And I think that many people who come here to fight will have that same desire, like that awakening. They want to be part of Ukraine after the war, because you commit so much to this fight, and you commit so much to Ukrainian culture and identity. It pulls you towards wanting to stay. So this is not true what Putin says about us. He's leading a stagnating country. Where the progress really is the West, not just technologically, socially, morally.